Hi everyone. I am deciding that rather than typing out my memory about my best friend Jim Sharp, that I would record a message. I'm having a little trouble with this. I've got one of these Chickle keyboards, and it doesn't type all the letters that you push, and I feel like I'm, pounding on it with my fist to get the letters to come up. So I thought I would just go ahead and talk for a few minutes about the relationship that I had with my friend. I do this every year on Facebook. Walton Friends, this will be your first time seeing this, but if you go back on my webpage, um, every year since I've had Facebook, I have posted memories about Jim. And so I'll tell you that we met in 1977 when I moved here to Lynchburg from New York. He was the very first friend I made in junior high school. We met in typing class, of all places, and you'll be glad to know that I am still a hunt and pecker typist. And both of us very quickly became well known in the class because we were the worst typists in the world. Back then, we practiced on the IBM Selectrics. Remember those great big metal, clunky electric typewriters? And we were awful. We were horrible. We wasted so much paper. Uh, just it was laughable. We were so bad. We were so bad. We became really the laughing stock of the entire class. And our teacher, and his name at the moment escapes me, but our teacher would refer to myself as Brother Guerra and Jim as Brother Sharp. And it became known throughout Heritage High School that Brother Sharp and Brother Guerra, who sat next to each other in the typing class, were the two worst typists in the history of Heritage High School. And so we became really good friends in high school, and we graduated, and we went to college, and he went to Longwood, and I stayed here at CVCC. But we stayed in touch. We were, we were close. We were always close. We were always very tight. This was back in the days before the internet, so we would call each other, and we would write letters, and we would usually get together about every weekend or every other weekend. Either he would come here or I would go to Longwood. And we were just thick as thieves, and played tennis together. Um, we both had an affection for Star Trek and would talk endlessly about Star Trek. And this was back when, um, back in '77, Star Trek, there was only the one series, and let's see, the first movie hadn't come out, so we would really just talk endlessly about the original series. And then we would see each other as often as we could and stay in touch. And skip ahead to 1995. Today, January 6th, 1995. Such a tough day. Even now, 21 years later, I have such a hard time getting through this day. I hadn't seen Jim for quite a while. Our schedules just didn't allow, our whatever it was that we were doing just didn't allow. I had not seen him probably in 6 or 7 months, and got the call from Dina that he had died, that he had a massive heart attack and was gone just before he got to the hospital. He was 35. We were both the same age, and I went into shock and stayed there for about a year. I just couldn't believe it. Um, I left the church. I became very angry at God. Um, Jim, I don't even know where to begin to tell you about how amazing he was. What an incredible individual he was. What an amazing father he was. What an amazing husband he was. What an amazing friend he was. He was one of the really good ones. The kind of person that you hope that you will have in your life. The kind of person that you can count on. The kind of person that makes your life better because you know him. And so when he passed away, I shut down. I couldn't handle it. Um, and I would not even attempt to say that the struggle that I went through was anything like what Dina went through, his wife. Um, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I still can't imagine. And I was talking to her online a little while ago, and I asked her, has the time eased the pain for you? Because for me, it hasn't. I cried earlier today, and I miss him. I miss him. I miss him desperately. And so I just never thought that any good would ever come out of my losing him. And of course back then I wasn't in the ministry. I attended church, but I wasn't a pastor like I am now. And I just, I quit the church. I did not understand. You don't take a person the caliber of Jim when there are all these other crazy individuals who don't add anything to one's life. And I stayed angry. Now, jump ahead, 2015, 2016 now. And I can tell you that Jim Sharp changed my life for the 18 years that we were friends before he passed, and in the time since, because God took that terrible tragedy and he told me, God told me, to preach from the pulpit that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow, that we don't know when our time will come. We don't know. And we don't know why. And I no longer question God about that. I don't necessarily understand it completely, even now. But I understand what Jim's life has meant to me in the last 21 years. that he's been gone. I loved him. I loved him like a brother. I know he loved me. My family loved him. My mom loved him. He was that kind of guy. He was just the kind of guy that you just wanted to spend as much time with him as you could, because we laughed and we joked with each other, and we both enjoyed the art of debate. I think he would. I know he would roll around in his grave knowing that where the issue of debate is in today's world. There is no debate. There's attack. There is criticize. There is making fun of whenever you share your opinion. But back in 77, 78, 79, we loved to debate any topic that came down the pike. And if we both agreed on the subject, I would play devil's advocate and take an opposing view just to keep the debate interesting. And boy, I'll tell you, so much fun. So much fun. But where I am today, Jim helped shape me. Jim helped me to become a pastor. His life, he left an amazing legacy to his children, to his wife, to everyone who knew him, to his family. And so today we celebrate. I celebrate the life of James Warren Sharp, my pal, my buddy. I don't have any more pictures of him to post. The new computer, all of my other pictures of Jim are on the other computer, so the only ones that I have, I took off of Dina's page. And thank you for letting me borrow your photo. When I think of Jim, I laugh, I smile. I remember him trying to learn how to drive a stick shift. He was horrible at it. Every time I went driving with him, I thought that my life would come to an end, because the man could not, he could grind those gears better than anyone I knew and not end up with a smoking engine. But Jim shaped me to, he helped me learn empathy for people who are suffering, for people who have lost loved ones. And since Jim's death, I have lost many other loved ones, my mother, my nephew, all kinds of folks. And Jim's passing prepared me for that. And he taught me. And he's still teaching me. And he's still a part of my life. I think about him all the time. And I look back on the great memories. So we're coming up on 15 minutes here, and I'm not going to keep this long. I just wanted my Facebook friends and my Walton friends to know that not only is this the remembrance of Jim's passing, but today is also Epiphany. And Epiphany is a church holiday that, for whatever reason, and I don't understand, is no longer celebrated in a lot of today's churches. But today ends the 12 days of Christmas. Okay, began on Christmas Day, December 25th. Then we have 12 days, and that culminates on today, which is the celebration of the coming of the Magi, the three kings, the three wise men, to visit the Christ child and bring him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And so, while it's a sad day, it's also a day of celebration. And Epiphany, the word Epiphany, we use that when we come upon an idea or something that excites us or something that brings a smile to our face. And that's the definition of Jim Sharp. Knowing Jim, loving Jim was an epiphany in my life. And so today I say to all of my friends, my Facebook friends, my Walton friends, celebrate today, smile today, and know that there are those in your life who create such joy. Make sure you embrace them. Make sure that you let them know how much they mean to you. God bless you, Jim. I love you and I miss you. And we'll talk to you again soon.